In the heart of central London, beside World Heritage sites and the financial district, sit perhaps the most controversial buildings in Britain right now. This is the Old Royal Mint. It's now owned by China, which wants to turn the 2-hectare site into what many here are calling a mega embassy. Beijing bought the Mint in 2018 for £255 million. Since then, there have been protests, objections in Parliament, and warnings from British intelligence that it could become a nest of spies. Now it's crunch time. The UK government must decide this month whether to approve the Chinese embassy or not. If it does, this won't just be the biggest embassy in London, it'll be the biggest in Europe. The UK's community of Tibetans, Hong Kong exiles, Taiwanese and Chinese dissidents are strongly opposed to the new China HQ.
For us, we see this as the UK giving the Chinese government a gift. It doesn't sit right with any of us.
That's largely because of this incident in 2022, when a Hong Kong pro-democracy protester was dragged inside the Chinese consulate grounds in Manchester and beaten.
Had he been brought inside, we had no idea what would happen to him.
Adding to their unease, the embassy's floor plans. In August, the government demanded to know what was greyed out before it'd make a decision. China explained some rooms, but not others, arguing the US didn't submit interior plans for its new UK embassy. What do you fear would happen inside there?
Inside, that's the main issue for us, especially with the redacted floor plans. We have no idea, the government also has no idea what these areas, what these rooms and floors would be used for, what they would hold, what they would house.
It's what lies beneath the ground that has others alarmed. Cables carrying sensitive data for London's 2 financial centres, the City of London and Canary Wharf. Some fear the cables could be tapped into by Chinese spies.
I think it accelerates their ability to influence what's going on in the City of London and take that data and use it to China's advantage for decades and decades ahead.
Philip Ingram is a former British military intelligence colonel.
You've got a massive insider threat sitting in the City of London when their number one intelligence collection priority is anything that gives them economic advantage. That's the problem.
The question for the UK government and security services is, could these concerns be mitigated? Journalist Isabel Hilton has been covering China for decades.
If those cables are vulnerable, we should either move them or work out a way to protect them, because this is not unique. We have a serious problem of electronic surveillance by the Chinese, of penetration of systems, and we have to step up.
Professor Steve Tsang is director of the China Institute at the University of London's School of Oriental and African Studies.
That should be the condition for the approval of the new Royal Mint site for the Chinese embassy, with the Chinese government being asked to pay for the cost for the relocation of the telecom substation. I think the Chinese government will understand that.
Alongside the embassy controversy, there's been a wider breakdown in trust between the UK and China. In 2023, 2 British men were accused of spying for Beijing. One of the men was a parliamentary researcher. Prosecutors dropped the charges in September, saying they didn't have enough evidence. In Parliament the next day, MP Tom Tugendhat expressed his concerns.
Somebody has been put in my office by a hostile state.
I think it's a pretty extraordinary site for a major development for a country that has demonstrated itself to be extremely hostile to UK interests and has already threatened UK national security in many different ways.
A month after the trial collapsed, MI5 issued a rare espionage alert to all MPs and their staff about 2 Chinese agents posing as online recruiters trying to infiltrate Parliament.
This activity involves a covert and calculated attempt by a foreign power to interfere with our sovereign affairs in favour of its own interests.
Officials from the current Chinese embassy in London, which has had a presence here for more than a century, slammed the alert as pure fabrication and malicious slander. Beijing hit back too.
基于错误信息的判断只会误入歧途。中方从不干涉别国内政，更没有兴趣搜集英国议会的所谓情报。
So where does all of this leave the UK-China relationship? Well, a lot depends on whether China gets the green light for this embassy or not. At the same time, the UK wants to expand its embassy in Beijing and strengthen ties. So as well as the security considerations, there are economic and diplomatic ones too.
If we say no at this point after endless delays, then it's a kind of needless row. You know, we don't gain anything. The UK loses the chance to upgrade its embassy in Beijing, which it needs to do, and nobody wins.
Are there any traitors in number 10, Prime Minister?
Prime Minister Keir Starmer is reportedly planning a trip to China in January. Critics fear it's a sign the government's approval of the London embassy is all but assured.
A difficult decision to make, and unfortunately I think they're going to make it for short-term political reasons rather than long-term security reasons.
The more that we actually realize or see China as posing some elements of security threat to us, the more important it is that we engage effectively with China, but doing so with our eyes wide open.